Good evening, dear House Committee on Finance Chairman and Vice Chairwoman and committee members. My name is Priscilla Delar Cruz, and I am with a local nonprofit called People's Power and Light, who is a coalition member of the Energize Rhode Island Coalition. I've submitted separate written testimony on behalf of People's Power and Light that speaks to why we're members of the coalition and why we support putting a price on carbon in both Rhode Island and Massachusetts. This evening, on behalf of Energize Rhode Island, I would like to provide you with a few more specifics as to how the carbon pricing revenue is collected and how our rebate or dividend could be distributed back to residents and businesses. So I will keep my remarks shortly, but just want to recap what our bill sponsor, Representative Renberg and economist Brlo covered earlier. So first, briefly, starting with how the revenue is collected. I believe earlier you all received handouts of the economic projections. So feel free to refer to those, and this is all covered in those handouts. So companies that sell fossil fuels in the state will pay that carbon fee at the first point of sale in the state. The price proposed, as mentioned earlier, is $15 per ton of greenhouse gas emissions or the carbon dioxide or carbon pollution equivalent. And for 2018 and 2019, that is the price proposed in the legislation. Then it will increase by $5 a ton per year thereafter, and the fee afterwards has no cap. And it's adjusted for inflation. What the bill does and asks of the Department of Revenue is that it implements how the revenue is collected. The bill also offers flexibility as to how the implementation would take place. Second, when it comes to the rebates, on the same handout, there's a pie chart that illustrates how the revenue will then be distributed. And the breakdown is as follows. 40% would go straight back to residents, and that's at a flat rate per year. In a separate handout, you also received a graph of the free and rebate net gain by income level, and you'll note that the majority of Rhode Islanders will come out ahead, especially those who have the lowest income. So that's really important to the Rhode Island, to the Energize Rhode Island Coalition. The bill also looks to the Department of Treasury and Revenue to distribute rebates to residents and businesses, again giving the state agencies flexibility as to how and when during the year rebates are distributed. Then 30% goes back to businesses per employee, as explained earlier, and 20% is allocated to the Clean Energy and Jobs Fund and invests in more renewable energy and energy efficiency programs for Rhode Island. And lastly, 5% of the revenue is used to cover administrative overhead costs. In conclusion, Energize, as previously noted, really aims to protect public health while protecting low-income vulnerable residents. Our recommended revenue or rebate distributions could protect Rhode Islanders from pass-along costs from companies that sell fossil fuels in Rhode Island. I didn't get into the economics or emission reductions and health benefits because other members of the coalition will touch upon that shortly. Thank you so much for your time this evening.